Greetings everyone, hello and welcome back to Railway Empire 2. You're just catching me as I'm moving along with one of my trains, just following along. There's something very satisfying about following tracks, merging, splitting, and looking at the landscape or watching the landscape go by. The countryside, the beautiful countryside of Montreal to New York. And even the signals are moving parts, so many details. Beautiful to watch that, to be honest. And we are also looking back to Montreal, a city that continues to grow pretty massively at the moment. And yeah, Montreal is not going to be part of this episode here, or at least not the focus of it. Looking like a pretty cool web that we have floated around that city. That's a bit of a difference than to New York City, right? So New York City was the first city here that we really connected to something bigger. And it looks vastly different than Montreal. So in Montreal, we used these specialized trains that are delivering the goods to Montreal, acting as a hub for all the resources to get them to the other cities. In New York, we kind of like used it differently in the beginning. We combined passengers and freight onto a one-track system, which has also its downsides that I think we have a bit of a congestion here then as well, right? With lots of trains going in and out with just a few tracks. So this is the first version. This is the second version. And we want to use the second version, perhaps a bit more improved on something new. And that is, I would like to go to the Midwest. We have Chicago and Madison right over there. And yeah, those cities have not been taken yet. And I would like to do this. In order to get to this area, we need to purchase some new territories. That's the first one. There's already the general here, Indianapolis, he's got. And then, of course, my business over here, my livestock business. Is it making profit? Yeah, not really. It's really not making profit. The cool thing is, oh, we cannot destroy it. I would have loved to destroy this, right? So the general builds the train station here for the livestock and we purchase it and destroy it. That would have been hilarious. Unfortunately, that's not possible. So I can return it to Hilton Fattening because this is not making profit, right? The general is also not really using a lot of the livestock here. So let's get rid of that. And boom, it's privately owned again. So I don't care about it really. We have this area now as well. So we can, of course, coexist with our competitor. And then we go into Chicago. That's 1 million. Hooray, there you go. And I would probably like to take Madison as well. That's 400,000 as we go deeper into this. And Iowa sometimes later then. So for now, Chicago it is. The Grand Rapids that we have up there, also we should get this because there's lots of resource. And Chicago, a really sleepy town right now. So there's not much going on in Chicago. And of course, this is going to be another of our hub, right? So another one of our hubs. So we're going to make this one into a big, bustling city. There's even a small market here. Where's the pub? And where's the chapel? You even have smaller parks here. So Chicago is looking a bit different than the other cities there. I don't know. I have not seen a market yet. Interesting one with the small city life of the Midwest. And there's the pub, by the way. There's the tavern right here in the center. Stanley's Theater as well. No artisans, but a theater at least. Now Chicago it is. There's lots, as we can see, farms around it. There's also Madison. And we need to connect these things now. So, for starters, of course, we need to connect it with our central grid once more. Or central system before we can actually do anything here. And yeah, Chicago is going to be busy. So we need to make sure that we kind of like use the station so that we have lots of space to it. So it's looking outwards, of course. There you go. And with that, we can make the connection. The first one that is going then right to Toledo that we already have, right? Something like that. Oh, there's going to be lots of tunnels here. That's fine. And then into Toledo, and here we are probably going to use, platform number 1 and 2 right away, because we're just going to expand the already existing line that we have onto this, right? Let's make it parallel, and that's basically it for now. Let's make here the gridiron number 1, and gridiron number 2. And then we have the existing line that goes to Toledo. There it is, Toledo, Cleveland. And I would just like to say, that is actually Pittsburgh as well, right? So we get Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Toledo, and Cleveland back. But instead, I'm going to say no to... Actually, wait a second. We need to... Start in Pittsburgh. We go to Cleveland, Toledo, and then Chicago. And then we go back again, Toledo and Cleveland, right? And we need to also, I always forget that, I hate that part. I need to change directions. There you go, and that again. And unfortunately, as always, it deleted my line again, my edits, my careful edits that I had. We need to do the whole thing again. So there you go. Now it's in effect. There's 2 on this line. Let's make it 3 trains that we have. Because it's going to be, of course, quite long and quite busy, so too. So this is Pittsburgh to Chicago. With that, we have connected Chicago now with our system. How very good. Money-wise, it did cost me, but we're almost at 600,000 per week at the moment, so we can afford that. And then, of course, Chicago. Lots of things that we can connect here. There's also Madison then. And Rock Island. Any other city? Madison looks pretty alone there. Yep, it is. Down here we got Columbia, St. Louis, and also some nice landscape like this nuclear wasteland. Is that a nuclear test site? It looks like it. Of course, in 19th century we don't have that yet. The first train already leaves Chicago, full by the way, right? So all of that towards Toledo. On quite a journey, so once again a very long train line. But then again, the US is vast. And we need to cover some ground here. But at least it's full, which is surprising, right? It's still a tier 1 city only. Now Chicago is a bit tricky to me because it has already quite the fulfillment of a lot of things. It has grain, lumber, beer, wool, and cloth. And yet we still don't have the 60% there really, right? Corn would be one thing, meat the other, and sugar another one. But at least with one more good we should be fine. How very lucky that Toledo is producing meat and it has a full export storage for that as well. Full breakdown here. There is meat for Pittsburgh going out. So there should actually, there is my freighter here, right? No. Alright, I mean we have the freight line here. I could extend this one. Nah, that's not okay because this is already going for Pittsburgh with the meat, since Pittsburgh does not have any meat. So I'm going to make our own special track here from Toledo to Chicago, right? And we use the same as the other meat transporter, because I think this just fits together quite well. And we're just going to make a 3rd parallel track here that is supplying Toledo with Chicago. There you go. Doesn't cost me that much, and we have our own connection with that. And let's make us a new train line from Toledo to Chicago, and we're using platform number 3. And in Chicago also platform number 3. It's really just on this solitary track, and it's really just going to be for freight, and it's only going to choose meat, right? I mean, it's not going to do anything else there. Let's accept. So that's our own meat trader now between Chicago and Toledo. The cool thing is it can also then take, we transported the most packages in the last year, and it can also take the cloth from Chicago and get it to Toledo, because Toledo will certainly need cloth at some point. It already does. Very good. So that's a smaller interchange. And with that, one more good comes in. And then we need corn. Now for corn, as always, it's nasty. There's only one corn that I can see up here, a rice farm by Grand Rapids. So we will need to create our own line just for that in order to get to Chicago. I will combine this though. And I will say that we make a train route that starts here. Also, there's sugar. Oh, that's great, because Chicago also needs sugar. Alright, for starters, Chicago is growing now. That's great. I still don't know how I will combine all of this, because I also want to get Grand Rapids in somehow. I might make a mixed line here. Get all the way down to Chicago. Takes sugar, passengers, mail, and gets it to Chicago. And then we have our other one from corn. But Toledo also wants sugar, of course. So I'm doing something else. I'm going to say that Grand Rapids acts as a smaller hub for us. Let's just make it like that.
Good luck with that.
Right? And Grand Rapids will have a warehouse and a maintenance depot. Maintenance depot we need anyway, and the warehouse then. And in this warehouse we're going to then load the corn and the sugar and get it from Grand Rapids then to Toledo and Chicago. right? In this way, we should combine all of that. There's also fruits. We will need fruits at some point. Let's also take fruits in. And this gets then to 2 different cities. So we are having a rural station that goes now to sugar. There's also grain on its way, but grain is so close that it will make the supply anyway. There's the corn. Then the fruit. And then we just connect them. There will only be 1 train needed for that, because there's not going to be a big volume of that. And we can really just use one of the later platforms here. Actually, you know what? There's going to be 1 train Grand Rapids to Chicago. Let's do this first. So we will need to make the connection then here somewhere with the main station. That's going to be quite expensive. Let's do this. Try to make it manually. It's always cheaper. Okay, so this is looking like something like now. So Grand Rapids is the hub for these materials that gets then to Toledo and to Chicago, right? And Grand Rapids then has those 2 tracks reserved for this. And then we're going to make now these tracks to the rural stations. So we have the corn here. And I'm not entirely sure how big demand will be for the moment. I mean, of course, there is going to be a demand, but I don't know if it's enough for 2 trains, especially once we upgrade them. So let's still go ahead and make this a 2-track system. It doesn't really cost me that much, and it serves... And it, well, saves us a lot of time later on. And then we connect the one here, right? And make another connection like this. And then we also have the same thing. Madison starts up there. We're going to ignore grain though. And this is really just a one-way. Or the sugar goes then right into platform number 5. There you go, right? So Grand Rapids. Perfect. Grand Rapids, of course, will get the maintenance depot and the warehouse, just to make sure that we can get these resources then onwards. Corn, sugar, and fruits. Then we just need to create the line now. Madison to Grand Rapids. For the sugar. Freight only. There you go. Easy as that. Oh yeah, by the way, of course, we still will need the supply tower at least. And the gridiron. At least that. And then of course 2 directions as well. If we want to have 2 tracks, then we need to also decide on directions. Otherwise it's getting a bit confusing then down the road. And then we have 1 line that goes Rice. Rice train station, Franklin, and Grand Rapids, and then back again. And once again, this is also freight. And let's have 1 train on that for now. And then we have a train line from Grand Rapids to Chicago. And this is going to be a mixed train using platform 1 right away. And gets basically everything that you want to wish for. Let's make express so it's fast. We are not using any cars because I really don't want to waste space there. As this, I think, is going to be quite the high volume there. Because there's a lot of stuff involved. Automatic, so whatever you want to wish for. And then we're also having another one, Grand Rapids, here, platform 2. I cannot choose that yet. To Toledo. Now we should be able to choose it. There you go. And in Toledo, let's use, yeah, platform number 3, which is the freight. I mean, Toledo could get a bit too busy there. With the meat, the passenger, the freight. Yeah, let's make a 4th platform here for Toledo. Just so that we also get this one in. Yeah, that gridiron is going to get busy. There you go. Still possible. We'll also make Grand Rapids now to Toledo. And in Toledo, we can choose platform 4. And in Grand Rapids, platform 2. And automatic on your off you go. Off you go, that is. It's getting a bit busy now over here in the Grand Rapids. I'm also expecting some growth. Because, of course, there's also going to get goods that are going over here from Toledo and and Chicago. And since demand for meat is going up now, right? So there's export for Chicago and for Grand Rapids. We might also need to consider then some food from over here, right? So after all, this could become a profitable business again. The general doesn't do that much here. Chicago continues to grow as well. Of course, this is going at a faster pace now once these lines are in full effect. So we just have to wait there a bit. Meanwhile, though, we don't need to wait really. We can go ahead and connect Madison there, for example, with Chicago. So we're going to have a couple of lines going out here then, right? Rochester and Minneapolis are going over there, and Madison to Duluth and Thunder Bay probably. That. Go ahead and make a train station. Also connect Madison. Yeah, these smaller ones we just keep like that for now. And then the question, what kind of line platform do we want to use for that? I think platform number 3 is not being utilized at all right now here. Right? I mean, the meat I think is coming into platform 3. That should be fine. Let's use platform number 3 for now. That goes over here. And then to the right of it, a parallel system connected with Chicago as well. Right, so that we have at least those two coming in here. And you know what? Let's purchase that one here too. To have Duluth also in it. Why should we wait on that? Doesn't make sense. And once again, we are also going to make the connection here right away. Oh, there is also a tribes clan, but we can circumvent that rather easily. Beep. There you go. Having another one into Chicago. So I want to make this whole area also quite busy, of course, connecting those cities. And with that, making profit. And big cities, of course, that is. Gridiron once more. And we have one here. No, we don't. I will definitely also need a supply depot somewhere here then too. And that's it as far as I know. Of course, direction as always. There you go. This right. And we just have a mixed line here once again. Duluth, Madison, Chicago, and Madison. Right. And it basically starts in Duluth in platform. Let's make platform 2 actually, because 1 we might need then for something else here. And then it goes to Madison platform 2. Chicago platform 4 is not utilized at the moment. And then it goes back again, Madison platform 1 and so forth. Automatic it is. Yeah, let's go with the express for now. And let's actually put 2 trains on this. And no specialty car for the moment. I don't think so. Ah, there is also the stuff from the Grand Rapids coming, right? Sugar, corn, beer. It's all in. I think we're also going to see some double growth here in Chicago now soon. And Grand Rapids has a double growth there at least. That was to be expected too. Right, so I would also like to see then the warehouse here. Yes, we got 7 corn coming in here, for example, and 2 sugar waiting for Chicago and Toledo. And fruits, we might also get a few more in, please. But that's that. And there it is. Also, Chicago double growth now. Getting the city on the track of a prosperous future. Everything is now in, right? And we're just going to unlock then milk, vegetables, and fruit down the road. So then we have the fruit in as well. There's the vegetable already, so this should actually be via road connection. So there will be nothing here. And then there's milk. There we can actually have a train line for that again as well. Looking great. Yeah, I might actually make the next line then already to Rock Island and St. Louis. Connecting this makes sense to me. You know what we could also make? We could make actually Washington to Chicago now. This whole line could work. It will be a massive line though. But we would need to update our track system as well. Yeah, we'll just see about that. So far so good. We are also coming to the end of 1838. That means 1840 is coming up soon. And with that, a whole bunch of new trains for us. We have the innovation points saved up. And we continue onwards and here with glorious Chicago and onwards our journey towards the west. Stay tuned.